I wanted to be really honest in this video today and talk to you about something that I think a lot of women will relate to, whether that's how I used to feel or how I feel now. And I just really hope that this helps some of you guys with how you view your health, your fitness, your goals, with how you look and how your body feels. And yeah, just hoping that this resonates and is useful. And generally, I just hope my story will help you get in a better place and a better mindset with your health and fitness goals. There was a time where fat loss was my only focus with my health and fitness. From my, I'd say, early teens all the way through my 20s, I genuinely believed that if I could just lose weight, if I could be a bit leaner, if I could be a certain dress size, if I could look a certain way, then I would feel happier, I'd be more confident. To be honest, thought everything in life would be easier and that all my problems would be solved. Because being lean and losing weight was the thing that I deemed to be the utmost important goal. I remember thinking at one point, if I was thin, or if I didn't want to lose weight, then there's no way that I'd be going to the gym. That was the sort of mindset that I was in when it came to looking after my health and fitness. And I'm very confident. In fact, I 100% know that I'm not the only one that feels like this or has felt like this in the past. Because ultimately that is what we're told, isn't it? Once you've got to the goal that you've set yourself, everything else is going to fall into place. And it's just not reality. And that is something that I have come to realize over the years, especially since I've been working as a women's health personal trainer. And I actually had a moment that changed things for me quite drastically. And I wanted to just share that story with you here. Back in 2018, I decided to book a photo shoot when I was still a relatively new PT. And the photo shoot was for my website. And I thought that I had to be in the best shape possible to be a legitimate PT that people would want to train with and trust with their health and fitness goals. And I thought that being as lean as possible was what I needed to do. And for months leading up to it, I did everything right. I was consistent. I tracked my calories. I did my workouts. I got my steps in. I stuck to the plan religiously. And looking back at those photos now, I can appreciate that I did get into really good shape. If I can work out how to do it, I'll pop some photos here on the screen from that shoot. It is probably the leanest that I've ever been. My muscles were on show. I looked like I trained hard. I looked like I looked after myself. I looked like a personal trainer. But do you know what? On the actual day of the shoot, I still did not feel like I looked good enough. I didn't feel like I was lean enough. I felt like I was still too big. I had too much body fat. I felt like I should have worked harder before the day, even though I knew, and I know now as well, that I worked bloody hard to get in that shape. And to be honest, that was a bit of a wake-up call for me, especially when I looked back at the photos later down the line. And to be honest, I still have those feelings when I look at these photos now, because it made me think, when will I actually feel like I've hit my goal? When will I actually feel good enough? How lean do I actually have to get to feel like I'm there at the place where I want to be, where I'm going to feel amazing in my body? And the reality was, I was already doing so much to get there. I was tracking everything I ate. I was saying no to meals out. I remember turning down social plans. I remember going to my friend's birthday drinks and I drank a soda water with fresh lime because I had no calories left to drink one nice alcoholic drink or even a non-alcoholic drink with a few calories in. I didn't want to allow myself those calories, so I had soda water and fresh lime. How depressing is that? And I remember thinking, I'm just not about this life. I don't want to do this any longer. And not only that, with the sacrificing of social plans and saying no to things that I wanted to do in life, but actually I remember my energy being really low, whether it was like in doing day-to-day activities or during my workouts. And I also remember being hungry a lot. And if you're hungry every single day, that can really make my life miserable. And I'm saying this from a place where I know I'm very privileged to be in the position to have said no to food and have chosen to be hungry. But making that choice to be hungry every single day, it did not make me happy. I love my food, and food is something that I really enjoy in life. And I love nourishing my body to feel good, but I also love treats. I love chocolate. I love sweets. I love desserts. I love the odd alcoholic drink. And I was depriving myself of all those things that bring me joy. And I just knew that I didn't want to do that long term. Because essentially I just wasn't enjoying the process at all. And to not enjoy the process and to still not feel like you've done enough on the day, I mean, yeah, that just basically opened my eyes. It basically made me question everything about why leanness was my only goal, why it was so important to me, why I thought that when I reached a certain goal or a certain size or a certain weight or a certain level of body fat that I'd be happy. I was the leanest I'd ever been and I was not happy with how I looked, which is madness. And it really just basically, opened my eyes to the fact that when do we ever reach that goal that we set ourselves? And to be honest, that was a really big turning point for me because I realized I've been putting all my focus and deeming all my success purely on how my body looked. And I'd been completely ignoring everything else, how I felt day to day, what my energy was like, what my body could actually do physically, and whether I was happy or not overall. And I definitely wasn't happy living a life of restriction where I only focused on whether I was losing weight or not. And I realized at that point that when your whole focus is fat loss, you miss the bigger picture of what health actually is. And part of health to me is enjoying my training. I love to move my body. I want to enjoy the workouts that I do because I've got enough energy to do them and I feel strong and I feel fit and I can push myself. I also want to be able to eat out flexibly with friends, with family. I want to eat out with my husband and son on the weekend and not worry about every single morsel of food that goes into my mouth and not have to think about calories 24 hours of the day, which I definitely was when I was in that rigid mindset where fat loss was the be all and end all. Now, before I start to round things up, I just want to be super clear in saying that I really do think fat loss is still a very valid goal. And if you're watching this thinking, oh, but I still want to lose weight, this is no shame on that. And this isn't me telling you that you should not be focusing on weight loss if that's what you want to achieve. And I regularly help clients work towards fat loss goals. And I will also go through phases where I want to personally focus on that a little bit more. But it's not my only focus anymore. It's not how I measure all my progress or all my worth. And it's not what my whole life revolves around. And that is what has really changed things for me. Nowadays, I care so much more about how I feel in my body. And that's the main message that I want to get across to you with this video. I want to feel strong. I want to feel capable. I want to have energy. I want to be able to live my life. I want to be able to keep up with everything. I want to be able to actually enjoy the things I'm doing because I feel good in my body. I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing, what I'm eating, how I'm moving day to day. Essentially, what I want is peace and happiness and balance when it comes to exercise and food and how I incorporate those things into my life. And like I said to you, this is definitely something that has helped me shape the way that I work with my clients. And I will absolutely support them with a fat loss goal if that's what they want to achieve. But I won't let someone base their entire worth or deem themselves only successful if they're a certain weight or they reach a certain size or they lose a certain number of pounds on the scale. We want to focus primarily on how they feel, how strong, fit, and capable they are in their body, their confidence in their body as a whole, not just the aesthetic side. I want to help my clients see what their body is capable of, and I want to help them make sure that it is capable of doing all the things that they want it to do, because those are the goals that actually have worth and meaning, and those are the ones that we all are going to want to maintain in the long term. And I just want to add that this mindset is especially important if you're a busy woman spinning a lot of plates who's in a really busy phase of life at the moment, whether that's because of work, kids, family responsibilities, all of the above. Life is full. And I know it can be overwhelmingly full at times, like it definitely is for me at the moment too, which is why I relate so much to so many of the struggles that my clients come to me with. And I know that many busy women with a lot on their plates don't have the time or energy to make fat loss their entire focus. And if they do, they constantly feel like they're failing. And it's not because you are, but it's because the rigid approach that you are putting yourself through and the narrow mindset of fat loss is what will deem me successful and what will make me happy does not fit in with your life and ultimately does not make you happy. So if you're in a place right now where fat loss feels like everything and you feel like that is what you need to achieve to be happy, just know it's okay for it to be a goal. But it should be a phase. It shouldn't be your entire lifestyle, because what we weigh and ultimately what we look like doesn't have to be your whole entire world. And once you stop tying your success and your happiness to aesthetics alone, that's when things honestly start to feel so different and so much better. Because it's when looking after your health becomes more enjoyable, more freeing, more sustainable, and actually becomes part of your life rather than something you put your life on hold to achieve. So I hope this video today really gave you some pause for thought, some reassurance, and maybe some motivation to start looking at your health and your progress and the goals that you set yourself beyond fat loss. And I would love to know, I'd love for you, some of you to comment, to share with me what your goals are with your health, what they are, which aren't related to fat loss. And like I said, if fat loss is your goal at some point, that is absolutely fine. And you can focus on that in a healthy, balanced way. But what are the goals beyond fat loss? What do you want your body to do? What do you want to achieve? How do you want to feel? Comment below if you're happy to share. And I'd love to have more conversations about this. I think it's so motivational talking to other women who have goals that they want to achieve, which brings so much more to their life than being a certain size or weight. I hope you enjoyed this video, a little bit different from my last couple. But yeah, hopefully a message which you think is important and was worthwhile hearing. And I'd love for you to share this video with anyone else that you think would need to hear it too. And obviously, I also want to mention, I am a women's health and fitness coach. I am a qualified personal trainer and nutritionist. I work with clients in this capacity to help them achieve physical and aesthetic goals with their bodies, but at the same time, whilst building healthy, sustainable habits and achieving amazing things like getting stronger, getting fitter, being able to compete in events that they never thought they would, making exercise and eating well part of their daily life so that they feel more energy, that they can play with their kids and lift their kids without injuring themselves. If you're a busy woman at a busy phase of life and you are struggling to look after you, and maybe you've been in this yo-yo dieting cycle of trying to lose weight and never really getting anywhere or not being able to maintain your results, I would love to chat to you more about your goals and see if I can help. I will leave my contact details in the show notes if you'd ever like to get in touch about coaching options that I currently offer. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye.